YouTube, how you doing? Hope you're all well this week and been training hard. Special hello to my 34 followers. Thank you very much for subscribing and following, and I hope I'm helping. As always, if you do need any information on any parts of the body, anything like that, just leave a comment and I'll see if I can get that done in another video sometime. So this video I'm going to do is about calf flexibility. So as most of you have been following my journey, you know about the frame I've been in, the broken leg. And one thing you'll notice is when you're in bed, especially if you've got a foot on a pillow, so your leg will always be at a slight bend, and also your foot will probably be pointed as well. Now, the calf muscle, to understand how the calf muscles work, first of all, we've got to understand that we've got two calf muscles. The upper calf and the lower calf. The upper calf is called the gastrocnemius and the lower calf is called the soleus. Both those calf muscles, they make or form the Achilles tendon, which is the center line of the heel. Now the soleus, which is the lower calf, that finishes underneath the knee joint. The gastroc, the bigger calf muscle, that finishes above the knee joint. So we're going to do two stretches today. One of them is to stretch the upper calf, and the other one is to stretch the lower calf. I'm sure you've all done them in some variation, but I just want to tidy them up a little bit because as I've been working on the stretch, I've noticed that because of the injury and because of the tightness of being in bed all the time, slightly twisted, when I now go into this stretch, my body's not lining up the way it should be. So I thought it'd be good to just get a video done just to go through some of the key pointers. So we're going to stretch the upper calf first of all. Easiest stretch going, most conventional stretch is a leaning calf stretch. Now, first thing before I turn around, put my back to you, I apologise, and show you the stretch. Whenever you're going to do this calf stretch, easiest thing to remember, same as when you're doing any sort of lunges. Make sure that your left foot stays on a left train track, if you will, in front and behind, and then your right foot stays on the right track. And the reason that is because what we don't want to do at the moment is allow the feet to get narrow, because then we find as though we're a little bit off balance, but also the hips have shifted. And we want to try and keep the hips as square as possible, and our feet alignment we want to try and keep as neutral as possible, so we can then take it into our day-to-day life of walking up, downstairs, and just generally getting around. So remember those two lines and get yourself set up. Apologies, I'm going to speak to you with my back, but you'll be able to hear and hopefully you'll be able to see what's going on. So the first thing we do, we get ourselves nice and tall. Just squeeze your butt cheeks a little bit. Just make sure that your lower back is in a neutral position. What we don't want to be in is that position or an overarch through the lower back. Got to get the butt muscles working and the abdominal muscles working and just squeeze those underneath. So the setup, grab yourself a wall, any wall, draw your tram lines, left leg, right leg. You can place your hands on the wall. The leg which you want to stretch, place it behind you, but always make sure that that foot is pointing straight forward. What tends to happen, a lot of people, next time you're walking around the streets, look at people's feet and also look at them when they stand and also your own. What you'll probably find, majority of people actually stand with their feet out or feet out one way or the other way. And that will actually interfere with how your calves work and also how you feel your foot is actually holding itself. So for the majority of people, when they go into a calf stretch, that feels normal for them. In other words, the toe is out and the heel is in. So what we've got to do, square that foot up, get that foot pointing straight forward, and then push that heel down. It's really important that with our back foot, we get all that weight traveling down the back of the leg into the heel. So much so that you should be able to wiggle your toes of that back foot. So once we're there, another thing that tends to happen, and I probably just did it there as you saw, I just hitched across a little bit. And that's me trying to protect my leg. And that's the first thing I really noticed, which is why I'm doing this video. So I'm getting that hitch across, and I definitely don't want that to happen. So what I can do is just square the hips back up again. It's as simple as that, but the difficulty is seeing that you're not in the right position. Once you realize you're not in the right position, you can just correct. So I'm putting a bit more weight through that left leg. I'm pushing that heel down. I'm getting a lot of load going through that heel, and I'm wiggling my toes. So foot's pointing straight forward, hips shifted over to the side we're stretching. Because we're stretching the upper calf, and the upper calf crosses the back of the knee, what you'll sometimes see as people stretch is that back knee just bends a little bit. Now what we want to do, if it does happen, get the front thigh muscles working, your quads, and just straighten that leg back up again. It's really important we get that leg straight if we want to stretch the upper calf. Now, what I'd recommend, get into position, shift yourself across, lift the chest up, draw the abdominals in, squeeze the butt cheek, and you just feel that as a stretch. If it's not very intense, but you do feel something, then you can hold anywhere from a minimum of 30 seconds all the way up to 3 minutes. Yep, 3 minutes. It takes such a long time for us to really develop some flexibility. If you think how long you do any cardio work or any resistance training, and then you find out how much time you're actually spending on flexibility, you'll understand why a lot of us aren't very flexible. So I'm getting a nice calf stretch through the upper calf of that back leg. Now, the Achilles runs underneath the foot, and we've got some muscles on the underside of the foot. So what we can do is we can stretch those toes out. So we lift the heel up, bend that back knee, and just really work on stretching those toes. Now, as you go into this toe stretch, what you're actually doing, you're going to be shortening the calf. So it's really important then that we transition from a toe stretch down into the calf stretch, push the heel back, get that leg contracted, come back into the toe stretch, big toe especially, and then back down again. And that will give you a nice stretch through the upper calf. And if you're finding that you're a little bit tight through the back of the knee, always remembering that, well, first of all, you've got your hamstrings cross the knee one way, but then you've got that upper calf crossing the knee the other way as well. So any tightness through the back of the knee, which we probably will do, because as I said right at the beginning, we're in bed with a pillow. So this leg is always going to be slightly bent. And then if we're sitting down where we've got some flexibility, again, that leg's always going to be bent. So the hamstring is always going to be tight. Calves are generally always tight as well. So we're now going to look at the lower calf, and that's called the soleus. So remembering, it also makes up the Achilles tendon, but this time it doesn't cross to the back of the knee. It stops just below the knee. So the only way we can really stretch this muscle is, if I was to say that the upper calf stretch, in terms of position, is shall we say, a full stretch, and we've got our body weight forwards, quite a bit of weight going through the front foot, pushing through the back leg. If we now say we're going to half that stretch, so we bring that half, stand up for me, and then bend. I haven't got much range because of a leg break, but again, that's why I'm working on it. Just bend that knee forwards. So the leg you're stretching, keep yourself upright. There's very little weight on your front foot. And just bend that knee forwards and down, and then back up again. Forwards and down. So as you go forwards and down through this leg, you still want to keep the heel down quite firmly on the floor. But now what you're going to do, you're going to start to feel some stretch along that lower calf, and that is the soleus. Again, another 3 minutes you want to be holding. One side, do the other side, upper calf, lower calf, do it as many times as you need. So I hope that all makes sense. If it doesn't, leave a comment. I'll see if I can explain it a different way, or I can show you different exercise or stretch for the same muscle groups. Give it a go over the next week or two. Try and do it twice a day, depending on how tight your calf muscles are, obviously. Try and get it done twice a day to really get those muscles working and get them used to just doing normal day-to-day activities. If you like it for me, please. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you know anybody who these might help, or they know or they have any questions they want to ask, just give me a shout and I shall see what I can do. Apart from that, hope you're all well and have a great afternoon, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.